Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another VQ37 300ZX swap video. So, Darren Rick, he did an amazing job caging this car. I'm super excited. I got T-top functionality inside the car, which is what I really wanted. Now, a bit of a spoiler, but there will be some recycled content from TikTok merged with this YouTube video just to make things a little bit easier. So, just giving you guys a heads up. Let's get rolling. It's been a while since I made a VQ37 to 300ZX swap update video, so check this out. All right, I gotta be quick because I found a really good deal in Marketplace right now. So check this out. Got the G37 dash somewhat mounted inside the 300ZX. That's also caged and rattle canned. I rattle canned it, so it looks like crap. But Darren Rick did an amazing job caging this car because, most importantly, I have T-top functionality in a 300ZX drift car that's caged. I'm excited. The overspray is to spray it on some sound deadener. That's all going to get removed. I still can't turn the ignition off with the push button, so I gotta disconnect the battery to get everything to shut off. I don't know where I'll be putting all these wires. I was trying to tuck it behind the cage. That wasn't working. I really wish I knew how to read a wiring diagram and make my own harness so that I can just kind of eliminate all that crap, but I can't do that. So we're going to walk over to the engine bay. I did do a little bit of fabrication, not a lot, just a little bit. So I managed to somewhat get like 95% done on the downpipe. It goes all the way down there. I don't like how close it is to the firewall over here or this brake line or any of this stuff. So I gotta figure some stuff out. Obviously I'm going to wrap it, but for right now it just has to work temporarily, then I can redo it in the wintertime. All right, we're done. Angle kit's installed. I'm super excited. Thank you, Just Engineering, for keeping the 300ZX dreams alive. I'm super excited to see what this car is going to do. Not only is this angle kit and engine package like the cream of the crop for this car, but it's the fact that it's going to be 400 to 500 pounds lighter than my 370Z. So I want this thing to be an absolute rocket. And if my weight savings are correct, it should weigh around 2,800 pounds, which I know for a lot of people that's going to be considered to be heavy. But for me, you know, going from a 370 that's basically like doesn't really have any weight reduction to a 300ZX that has all the weight reduction, it's going to be an absolute wild ride. Alright, so I'm not really good at this whole voiceover stuff, and hopefully I don't stutter a lot and mess this up, but anyway, so we're just going to get started with doing some thermal paste on this super cheap Chinese oil filter sandwich plate. I know my friend Cody, he had leaks with his. I've gotten lucky several times, and I just want to make sure that I wouldn't have any leaks right off the rip, because I don't want to do this twice. Just going to remove the old oil filter. And then I'll be putting on the sandwich plate. It's not clocked at the correct angle. I kind of fiddle with this throughout the video. I don't think I captured it, but I did adjust it so that it's going to be clocked correctly. Now I'm hammering down the oil cooler mounting bracket. Drilling some holes. Preparing it for the rev nut. We're walking over to the bandsaw, well not bandsaw, but the chop saw real quick so I can make some oil lines for this thing. Now I'm going to blow out all of the debris that was inside. It was probably hard to tell, but a lot of rubber did shoot out from the other end over there. And one interesting fact that I learned very quickly about AM fittings about a decade ago is they're actually reverse threaded, and I had no idea. So in case anyone out there is going to attempt this, you know, themselves, just keep that in mind that they are reverse threaded. And yes, it is dirty in there. I'll have to clean it again, which I did do off camera. And that's done. So it's installed. I know it looks like it's hanging low from the car, and it's not, I promise you. Alright, so I got the factory non-turbo 300ZX door removed from my 300ZX, and I was curious, since I got this little scale thing here, how much it weighed. So I want you guys to take about 5 seconds or pause the video and guess how much you think this door weighs. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is insane. That's almost 100 pounds for a door. So I have some other doors that are cleaner. You can't really see them. But I have other doors over there. And my plan is to gut it. And I want to see just how much weight I can save. Because if I can drop, you know, like let's say get it down to like 20 pounds a door, I'd be super happy with that. So let me know what you guys think I can get a factory door down to. Alright, so I just spent the past 45 minutes or so gutting the factory Z32 door. It's my spare. I can tell you right now, there's a huge difference with how light it is. I can actually pick it up and not struggle. Now, I did cut out the crash brace that was in there. I know some people have their own opinions on that. I'm not too worried about it because the car is staged. So if I were to get in an accident, just gotta make sure my passengers do not have their fingers or hands in between the roll cage and the door, and everything should be under the door. This thing, somewhat where it should be. Let's get this hook, this little scale, and then we'll start cranking it up. See how much this thing weighs. You gotta deburr this up too. These edges are razor sharp. So I haven't looked at it yet. I'm hoping it's under 30 pounds. Come on. Open more. This is caught up on. Just a wee bit more. Good enough. And the weight is 37 pounds. Maybe 35. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to be doing with this VQ300ZX swap thing is we're going to be taking the 370Z differential and swapping it into the 300ZX. So here is the 300ZX differential and axles. The 300ZX diff is about 11.5 inches wide. The 370Z diff is 13 inches wide. I've already measured this stuff. I can't really hold the measuring tape and show you guys the measurements at the same time. So please take my word for it. The axles, I think they're a 31 spline for the 300ZX, and the 350Z axles that are also 6-bolt flanges, because these are only 5, so these are only 5 bolts inside the NA chassis, and the 350Z axle, G35, whatever, is 6-bolt. So, yeah, I think it's like a 33 spline or something like that. If you're doing the swap and you have a TT chassis, then you have to use the 370Z or G37 axles because of the spline differences. Now, asking around, my friend Evan, I think that's his name, he sent me some pictures of his diff swap and his 300ZX chassis as well, and I noticed that he had to grind some of his ears down, so I just already did it. I didn't take any measurements prior. I just started grinding because I'm like, well, from the pictures that he sent me, it needs to be grinded down to clear some space. I do not have the current flange on there as of now. I will add it later after everything is bolted up. So let's go ahead and see if I can get this thing lined up. Also, this may help. Some people may disagree with this. It's not really a good practice, I would assume. But I know from my bushing here, let me get some light on. Now, this is just sitting in there. The GK Tech, 350Z, 370Z differential adapter thing. That's just sitting in there. It's not pressed in yet. But I went on Amazon and I got this little engine honer thing to help smooth out the bore a little bit so it'll have an easier time going in. You don't got to run it in there like crazy. You don't want to, ruin your tolerances, but I think this will help with the installation when it comes to smacking that bushing back in, because good Lord, I need it. Okay, so I was going to do a time lapse of the installation of this differential, assuming things were going to go well, and things did not go well at all. But I finished it. So check this out. Got the eBay wide stab arms in. That's been in for, several years. But yeah, 370Z diff, 370Z drive shaft, 370Z transmission, G37 engine, G37 dash harness, blah, blah, blah. This car is going to be freaking nuts. But I got the GK Tech adapter kit in. I pounded the absolute crap out of this thing, and I did not have the installation tool. So since I was pounding it in, I nicked the stud right here, so I had to pull everything off. I had to drop the diff all over again, grind down the stud, and then make sure I can fit a nut on it. So I got that settled. That's awesome. I have the 350Z axles installed with 370Z hubs. Now you're supposed to swap the hubs out to 350Z hubs, and because I didn't, it made installation an absolute nightmare. And I'm honestly surprised that I had spare 370Z axle bolts. I was very, very surprised by that. So let me scooch on under. So here's the adapter bushings. I was an idiot. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea, but I had this thing. I had both the bushings like on top, so they were all reversed and nothing was lining up. So I was sitting here screaming for like an hour and a half, not even joking, trying to figure out why this differential is not bolting up. But yeah, I got everything bolted up. I'm super excited because this was a little bit more of a doozy than I thought it was going to be. So there is one problem though. Whenever I snug down the axle bolts all the way, the drivetrain doesn't really want to spin that well, and I think it might be because of the differential doesn't have its input flange on it. And I know whenever you don't have that, on there, it's very hard to turn it, or it's just not going to turn at all because of the lash and stuff just does not exist. But also, there is a local drive shaft shop to me, and they said they would charge me $350 to shorten my 370Z carbon fiber drive shaft. Now, I was originally worried about that. 'Cause I'm like, will I have to make a custom drive shaft like from scratch? Because that's going to be really expensive. So, like I said before, if you have a 2+2, you might be able to get away with just simply bolting on a 370Z drive shaft, and then that'll be it. And while we're on the topic of drive shafts, ignore that hole. Rear mount radiator here. So this is just kind of sitting in there. I'm going to move it, like up and towards the camera a little bit more. But anyway, I found an absolute bargain deal off Marketplace. This dude is selling pipes. I needed a 1.5-inch pipes. He is selling 1.5-inch pipes by 12 feet for $18 a piece. I'm like, what the fuck? So, on Amazon it is way more expensive, on eBay, blah, blah. I don't buy like name brand stuff like Vibrant, which I should, but, I like doing things on the cheap side. So regardless, it is an absolute bargain deal, and I'm going to buy, 6 pipes off him so that I can stock up on it, because I know my purple Z is going to be rear rad, and then my 370Z is possibly going to be rear rad as well. But all in all, sorry for the long TikTok. Normally, these type of videos would be reserved for YouTube. I just want to show everyone the progression that I've been, kind of making day by day.